Welcome back to another video. If you've been on the internet at all in the last 24 hours, you've likely seen the news that conservative influencer and activist Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed. This happened around yesterday afternoon at the Utah Valley University, where Charlie Kirk was hosting a Turning Point USA event, which is the company he owns. He had a table set up and was debating with some of the college kids, which is something he would commonly do across the country, is visit college campuses and host events and debates, advocating and promoting conservative viewpoints on different topics. He was about 20 to 30 minutes into the event and was in the middle of answering a question about gun violence when he was shot in the neck and collapsed. There was a video of it, and it was pretty disturbing to see. Now, I'm going to get into what I think this is going to spell out, as I do think this sets a pretty scary outlook on society and just life in America going forward. But first, I want to give sort of a very quick and brief rundown on the current situation. There's other channels out there that do a much better job at breaking this down than I ever could, so I'm just going off of what I know right now. So after Charlie was shot, the crowd obviously dispersed, people were panicking and running to take shelter in buildings. Charlie was rushed to the hospital, shortly after which he was unfortunately declared dead. He was, I believe, to be 31 years old and left behind a wife and 2 kids, which of course is just horrific. From what I know, the official shooter has not been identified. An older guy was actually detained, but turned out to be innocent. And there is currently a manhunt going on. The FBI and local law enforcement have requested civilian assistance in finding the shooter. There was a video circulating that shows someone on the rooftop of a building in line of sight of the tent, as well as them running away after the shot is fired. Officials are saying that the shot was fired from around 200 yards away, so it is very likely that it did come from a rooftop or at least from a higher elevation. That's essentially all we know at the moment. Obviously, there's going to be updates and stuff, so some of what I say in this video might turn out to be wrong or outdated as more information comes to light. But of course, this has just set the internet and the country in flames. Politicians on both sides in the White House, including President Trump, have made statements. I think all American flags have been ordered to be lowered to half-mast in honor of Charlie. Of course, there's been widespread condemnation of this event and about political violence in general, but of course, as is human nature, as well as the nature of the internet, there were, or I should say are, quite a lot of people who are actually celebrating his death. Whether it's in street interviews or online, there's videos of people dancing to celebratory music and cheering on social media, which I find to be absolutely insane. I get that a lot of people disagreed with him or didn't like him, but come on, man. You're essentially cheering and encouraging the deaths of people whom you disagree with. I mean, there were things I heavily disagreed with him on, but this sets a very bad precedent going forward. You see, the concept of freedom of speech has unfortunately been dissipating in society today, with things like censorship, algorithms, privacy breaches, and now straight up violence. Nowadays, freedom of speech is not something you can really bet on to protect you, even in instances in which it was created to do just that. Something is deeply wrong with this country, and it's starting to ingrain itself in the people. People who have become so mentally incapable of respectfully disagreeing with each other and allowing others to have their own beliefs and opinions. There's been this growing effort to dehumanize the other side. Both sides, or factions, or whatever you want to call it, are convincing their followers that the others on the opposite end are just pure evil and inhuman. Dehumanization is one of the most dangerous weapons of modern society, in my opinion. When you're able to successfully demonize and paint someone or a group of people as inhumane, you are inherently welcoming inhumane responses. Powerful people use events like these and methods like these to sow more hatred so that they can make themselves more and more powerful. And I think that's what's happening here. Whoever is behind this is absolutely counting on the division and the fighting that this is going to eventually result in. They tell you it's not you, it's your neighbor, your cousin, your parents, your friends, the other gender, or this race of people, or that race of people. And just in general, we've been seeing the value of human life becoming so diminished. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the amount of stories I've read of people getting stabbed, shot, assaulted, or brutalized in some way or another over the most insignificant and avoidable shit possible is comical. We have literally gotten to this point now where you can be killed for simply having a different opinion or belief than someone else. Society has become that unstable. People are hurting, people are suffering, and oftentimes there will be those few who sort of poke out to the surface and other people will pay the price. You don't even have to do anything wrong. I mean, look at the recent case we just had with Irina Zarutska. I think I just butchered that. But she was a Ukrainian refugee just going home from work and was stabbed and killed for literally no reason. And this situation with Charlie Kirk's assassination, something like this hasn't happened in a very long time. They're comparing it to the likes of the assassinations of MLK and JFK. And from what I've seen and read, the general consensus on the internet is that this was the work of a professional, or at least someone very skilled or trained. I also think so. I find it very hard to believe that it was just some crazy nut job that wanted to be on the front page news that day. And look, Turning Point USA has had a crazy impact on the political environment. The organization has historically focused on younger people, especially now. So many people in the younger generations probably looked up to Charlie and Turning Point USA and saw him as a hopeful figure for the future, especially given how disillusioned and betrayed they feel by the system, government, and wider society in general, which I think will be amplified even further by this, which is just sad. I'm actually just adding an update right now. The firearm used in the murder, which has turned out to be a high-powered rifle, has been found in the woods near the university. There were also supposedly words carved on the cartridges that were described as, quote, transgender and anti-fascist writing. I really don't know what that entails. The FBI has issued a photo of the person of interest who may or may not turn out to be the actual shooter. But yeah, this story will just keep developing as the days go on. I'm sure more information will be found after I upload this, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this and what I think it really represents. That's going to do it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.